Hi everyone. Today I wanted to show you something that I thought was really fun and cool about using Bitwig, and that is a way that we can take any sample we want and throw it in the sampler just to try and turn it into something that's really interesting, that's really different from where we started. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've got this audio clip here. I just went through and chucked some onsets in like this wherever I felt like it needed some. Bitwig's onset detection is a little different from transient detection, so sometimes it misses things that should be there, but that's not really too important for this. The most important thing is just that we have a sample that exists. It doesn't need to be anything fancy at all, just want to have something. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to slice this into a multi-sample, and I'm going to choose onsets. 128 is fine. It doesn't really matter. There we go. So now I'm going to deactivate that audio track, and here we have what we need. So now if I play this back, it plays through our sample, and you can see it scrubbing through everything there. We're just going up and down. So now that I have it like this, I can adjust things in here. I can do a whole bunch of different stuff. But what we're going to do is a little different. What we're going to do here is we're going to take these notes and we just want them all to be on top of each other. The way that I'm going to do that is by getting this bottom one and this top one here, and we're just going to delete everything that's in between. And now what I'm going to do is I've already set my grid size to be like this. So my grid size here you can see is four bars, and then every 4 bars it makes one grid line. This way I can duplicate and move it over just like this really quickly with the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, now I'm going to delete this, up an octave, and then do the same thing where I move it over, up an octave, move it over, up an octave, move it over. Duplicate up and move it over, and then E flat is our last note here. So now we've got all of our stuff on top of each other, and it sounds great. It sounds really, really, really good. So there's 2 different things that we could do here. One is that we could come into our note clip here and select these, or we could just select a portion of them, and then we could adjust the likelihood here with our operators. And you know what? We can just open up the histogram and do chaos. Adjust that around a little bit. That looks cool. Now you can see only some of these notes actually get played. And it highlights which ones are played. It grays out which ones are not being played. So now that we have that set up, we can grab the arpeggiator device. And it's already sounding pretty cool to me. So I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and we'll just put it on random. So now we have random notes, and we have a random order that's being played. So we're kind of hitting just a random chord each time. That way we're constantly feeding our arpeggiator new information. And I've just moved us over into the edit window here so that we can look at our notes and the arpeggiator at the same time. Now, you can change this right here to kind of freeze that random pattern or to get a new one. I don't really care about that. I like to get something different every time. So we have this kind of glitchy, almost breakbeat drum pattern that's happening. What I'm going to do is go in here, get a random modulator, and then make it so that we go back and forth between an 8th note and 16th notes. That's generally a pretty safe range. So you could stop here if you wanted to, maybe adjust how often it's switching back and forth randomly between 8th notes and 16th notes, and just use this as like a little kind of percussion generator. But I like to go a little bit farther and start exploring around with these different warp modes here in the sampler. So if I go back to our arrangement view, let me pull up the devices. let's grab an AH SDR, and let's get rid of our hold, make kind of like a little pluck, and let's also switch over to textures mode. Okay. Oh, you know what might be more fun actually is if we take this, let's put a random modulator over here and put that on the freeze. So now it's randomly freezing us while we're going through. And let's have that randomly change the grain size as well. Now what we can do is we can turn on our voice stacking here. So what I did there is I increased the voice count. So now we have 5 voices of this that are all playing at the same time. It's sounding a little wild, but we can introduce spread into our different parameters here. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we can even introduce spread in between the modes. So now some of my voices are playing on cycle mode, some of my voices are playing on repitch, and some are playing on textures being granulated. So let's give it a little bit of random panning per voice. I guess it's not actually random, it's just modulating it per voice. So now we have this kind of like monstrosity. Let's pitch it up a little bit. Maybe we can add a pitch envelope with something like 4 stage. Let's try it. Oh, let me reset this first. That's starting to sound really weird. And now you can just kind of come in here and play around with the parameters. Whatever you would like to change, you can. But we've set up a little system here that just kind of lets us make cool stuff. So, you know, we can randomize the frequency here, maybe the resonance, have that go up and down. Maybe put this on bandpass mode. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, it's a little quiet now. Let's take out the sustain. All right, now we've got really cool little hits. I see what happens as we start to turn up the release. So this is just a really short little video, just to kind of show some interesting ideas. And all of this just came from a stupid loop, a drum loop. So you can put anything you'd like into this sampler. You could put a whole song, and really just turn it into something that's pretty uniquely yours. So that's all I have for this, and hopefully I'll make another video soon.